Grab a cup of coffee, dim the lights, and pull up a chair. We need to have a serious heart-to-heart conversation, the kind Washington politicians hope you're too tired or too confused to have. You've worked 40 years. You've paid into the system since your very first summer job, back when a gallon of gas was under $1. You've seen presidents come and go, but you always believed in one thing: the Social Security promise. But now, as you look at your 2026 statement, you're hearing whispers that sound more like sirens. Panicked headlines about insolvency and a 23% cut coming in 2033. These headlines are designed to make you feel powerless, like you're watching a slow-motion train wreck and you can't stop. But have you ever stopped to ask why? Why is the wealthiest nation in human history telling its elders, the very people who built the infrastructure, the schools, and the economy we enjoy today, that the well is running dry? Tonight, we aren't looking at the red or blue politics. We are looking at the cold, hard math. We are asking the uncomfortable why questions. This isn't just about a check. It's about a breach of contract. It's about a heist hiding in plain sight.
Why is your retirement on the chopping block? Let's address the elephant in the room first. Why is there a 2033 cliff at all? If you listen to the mainstream media, they'll tell you it's a demographic accident. They say people are simply living too long. In Washington speak, your longevity, your health, and your extra years with your grandkids is being treated as a budgetary liability. Here is the deep dive into the silo. Think of the Social Security Trust Fund like a giant community grain silo. For decades, the greatest generation and the early boomers poured more grain in than they took out. The silo was overflowing. But now, as 10,000 boomers retire every single day, we are scooping out more than the current workforce is pouring in. But here is the part they don't explain. If that silo hits zero in 2033, Social Security does not disappear. It doesn't go bankrupt. However, a law already on the books dictates that the SSA can only pay out what it collects in payroll taxes that specific year. That math leads to an automatic 23% cut for everyone.
The real why. Why hasn't Congress moved a finger to fix this in the last 40 years? Because a crisis is a powerful tool for manipulation. They are waiting for the clock to run out so they can present you with impossible choices. Either raise the retirement age to 70, cut benefits for the next generation, or privatize your money so Wall Street can take a cut. They aren't failing to fix it. They are strategically waiting for the panic to peak.
Why do billionaires stop paying in January? This is the part of the analysis that should make your blood boil. Why does a CEO in a corner office stop paying into Social Security while you're still paying on your very last shift of the year? It's all because of a mechanism called the wage-based cap. For 2026, that cap is projected to hit roughly $184,500. Let's look at what that actually means for your neighbor versus a billionaire. If you earn $55,000 a year, you pay the 6.2% Social Security tax on every single dollar you earn. Your contribution is 100% proportional to your income. But let's look at a tech mogul or a hedge fund manager earning $20 million a year. They pay that 6.2% tax on the first $184,500, and then they are done. They are tax-free for the rest of the year. The deep analysis: most billionaires hit that cap within the first few days, sometimes the first few hours of January. By the time you're sitting down for your New Year's leftovers, they have fulfilled their entire obligation to the seniors of this country. For the remaining 360 days of the year, their effective Social Security tax rate is nearly 0%. We don't have a shortage of money in this country. We have a shortage of contribution from the top. If we simply scrapped the cap and made every dollar over $400,000 subject to the same tax you pay, the Social Security shortfall would vanish overnight. The system would be safe for the next 75 years. Why is your COLA raise a tax trap? You probably received your 2026 COLA notice, a 2.8% increase. On paper, it looks like a win. But why does it feel like that extra money is gone before the check even hits your bank account? Welcome to the stealth tax, one of the most brilliant and cruel pieces of financial engineering in Washington. Back in 1984, Congress decided that if your provisional income went above $25,000 as an individual or $32,000 as a couple, they would start taxing your Social Security benefits.
Here is the kicker. Those income thresholds have never been adjusted for inflation, not in 1990, not in 2010, and certainly not in 2026. The deep analysis. Think about what $25,000 bought you in 1984 versus what it buys you today. In 1984, that was a solid middle-class income. Today, it's near the poverty line. Every time you get a COLA raise, which is only meant to help you keep up with the rising price of eggs, medicine, and electricity, it pushes you further over that 1984 line. Suddenly, a raise that was supposed to help you survive becomes taxable income.
The IRS is effectively using the inflation you suffer from to claw back the money the SSA gave you. They are taxing you for the crime of trying to keep up with the cost of living. Why has this bracket been frozen for 42 years? Because it's a silent revenue generator that relies on you not noticing the math.
Why does Congress enjoy a VIP system? When you watch the news and see politicians arguing about whether you deserve your full benefit, you have to ask, why aren't they worried about their retirement? The answer is that they aren't playing by your rules. Members of Congress are covered by the FERS, Federal Employees Retirement System. While you have to work 35 to 40 years to maximize your Social Security, a member of Congress only needs 5 years of service to vest in a lifetime pension. The deep analysis. Many long-serving politicians will retire with pensions exceeding $60,000 or even $100,000 a year, fully adjusted for inflation and guaranteed by the same government that tells you the cupboard is bare. On top of that, they have the Thrift Savings Plan, TSP, where the government matches their contributions with your tax dollars. It is a two-class system. They have a VIP lifeboat, while you are told to stay on the sinking ship and share the sacrifice. When the people writing the laws are insulated from the consequences of those laws, urgency disappears. They aren't fixing Social Security because, for them, the system isn't broken. It's working exactly as intended for the elite.
Why the distractions about zombies and rumors? Lately, social media has been flooded with wild stories. You might have seen claims that Elon Musk found zombie pensioners, people 150 years old still receiving checks, or the frequent claim that undocumented immigrants are the ones draining the fund. Why are these stories everywhere right now? The deep analysis. We have to look at this through the lens of divide and conquer. Dr. Ed Weir, a man who spent decades running Social Security offices, has been clear. The 150-year-old story is a misunderstanding of data. People are looking at the numident, a historical record of everyone who ever had a number, and confusing it with the master beneficiary record, which is who actually gets paid. And as for undocumented immigrants, the law is incredibly strict. You cannot receive a Social Security check without a valid legal status and years of documented work. The real why. These stories are smoke grenades. If the government can get you angry at zombies or immigrants, you won't be looking at the wage base cap. If they can get us fighting each other over crumbs, we won't notice who is stealing the whole loaf of bread at the top. It is a classic misdirection to keep the status quo protected. Audit your power. So, what is the conclusion of our analysis? Social Security is not a gift. It is not a welfare program. It is a social insurance policy that you bought and paid for with every hour of overtime and every grueling shift you ever worked. The 23% cut is a policy choice, not a necessity. The frozen tax brackets are a choice. The wage cap is a choice. And that means we can choose something different. Don't let them tell you the nation is broke. We have never been wealthier. The wealth is just being shielded from the very people who created it. It's time to stop asking if we can save this system and start demanding why our leaders are choosing to let it fail. Your next step. Don't just get angry, get active. When a politician asks for your vote, don't let them give you a scripted answer. Ask them, will you scrap the wage cap so billionaires pay the same rate I do? Make them answer the why. I'm Himi. This is your money, your life, and your legacy. You earned it, and you have every right to protect it. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and I will see you in the next deep dive.